we've had a few people ask us what sort of caravan is it that you are using and what does it look like. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a zip around of our van and show you a few bits and pieces that we've added to it and talk about anything that we may still want to add to it. Please bear in mind we have been on the road for 2 weeks straight at the moment through very dusty, dirty outback Australia conditions. So it is quite dirty. Yes, it does need a really good wash. Please look past all of that and you'll see that it is very well loved and very much used, and it has been withstanding the test of time. So I'll flip you around and you can have a look. So we have a Golf Savannah 499 pop top. The actual length of it is, it's 15 foot, is it,
so
Jay?
4.99 metres.
4.99 metres.
I think it's 15 something.
Yeah, it's about 15 something foot in length. And as said, it's pretty dirty, but look beyond that. So at the front, originally the van came with a stone guard, like a mesh stone guard, and it was really difficult because it was sort of about right near the toolbox, and it was so hard to be able to get in and out to the boot and things like that. The other downside of those stone guards is that they are designed to stop stones flicking up and hitting your van, but what would often happen is they'd flip up, hit your stone guard, and then flip back and smash the back of your ute or car window. So we got rid of that, and it's the best decision we ever made. We added in this stone stomper, which I'll do a separate video again just on the stone stomper and how we use that and how it works, because that's definitely worth doing something separate for. So anyway, it has a boot space, really good boot space at the front. I think Jason's actually locked, so I'll just come over and try and unlock it so I can show you how much space it's actually got. So that's it inside there. It holds 2 gas bottles. It comes with 2 they're 4 kilo gas bottles. Would it actually fit? I think it does fit. People have put the 8 kilo bottles in there.
Yeah, maybe it would be tight. I wouldn't like to do it.
I wouldn't like to do it. I mean, look, that's all we use, and we've had no issues with them whatsoever. We've got our utilities, hosing and things like that in there, and a big generator and some other bits and pieces. It wasn't sealed very well. That was one of the downsides. So when it rained, anything in there did pull and get wet. But as we do on a lot of the pages that we're on, people mentioned about adding in these seals here that we've done, and over on the other side, and since doing that we haven't had any water in there whatsoever. It's come up a real treat. So just doing that little minor adjustment has made a big difference. The toolbox it also came with, I won't open it because we've padlocked it, but in there we've got all our awning, side awning, the ground cover, like there's a whole lot of bits and pieces in there that obviously we're not using because when we're doing overnight quick trips, we don't pull out the awning and do all of that, but it's all in there so we know. Again, it didn't seal at all. We've just added those rubber strips underneath, and that's stopped all the rain from coming in now. I have talked about, we changed over the jockey wheel and hitch. I've already talked about that in another video that you can have a look at. So then we'll come around in here. I'm not going to pull it out at the moment, but this has a full slide out kitchen and it connects to the gas straight here. So you've got hot water on your kitchenette and gas that it cooks cooker and everything. So that's a really good when it's warmer weather and we're set up for more of an extended period of time, maybe at least a good couple of days or what have you. As I said, when the weather is really good, we'll pull out the outdoor kitchen and cook out here. We've added on these suction cups. They may look a little bit strange, but they've actually been a fantastic idea they do remove, so they're not actually permanently attached there, but they've stayed on for ages now and haven't gone anywhere. Great for just hanging your towels out and things like that. When there's several of us that have wet towels, especially in summertime, not only do you have your normal shower towels, but you've also got your beach towels, and there's not a lot of places to actually hook your towels up to dry. So just having those hooks there has made the world of difference, which is really, really good. We've also added a couple of hooks here. We've got one of our Navigator, and we'll talk about our Navigator products on another tutorial again, because they're in itself a really good product. But it's like this fold down, what do you call it, Jay?
Spice.
Oh yeah, like a spice rack. And so when we put all these different rubs and things on our meats, and we use our Ozpig heaps and heaps and heaps to cook with when we're in an area for more than a night, and yeah, that's what holds all our spices and things like that, and it just fits perfectly there. And here it's got a drawer fridge, so in addition to the small fridge inside, which I'll show you, it's also got an external drawer fridge, which has been super handy when you're sitting outside. You don't have to keep going in all the time. You just open it up and you'll see it fits stacks of drinks in there, and it gets really cold as well. So that's been actually awesome to have that, and as an addition, especially in the summertime, you do tend to drink a lot, so that's great to have. So we'll come around here and then take you inside. So we have on our entry, this used to come with a drop down 2-step, and it was just crazy because I think the first trip out we just exited a normal service station and it bent the step underneath because the design, it hung too low, even though it retracted, and it just hooked up and bent. They're notorious for doing it. So we just took it off, and Jason's just put this metal plate underneath here, just because when he took the step off, it exposed some of the fiberglass underneath the van, and this is just to give it some extra protection. So, and then we bought this 2-step here and use it, and it works a treat. So it's so much better. We've never had a problem since we took the steps off, and I think most of the Golf owners do the same thing. So our muck mats, which I have talked about before, and most people tend to have the muck mats there, are just a godsend, so they're really good. So we'll come inside. So you're currently looking at the kitchen area, or the dining table, I should say. Now this whole table actually folds down to a double bed. So this is where a couple of our daughters, when they've come together, they've stayed there without problems, and one's an adult, the other's a young teenager. And it's a very comfortable bed that it flips down to. There's really good storage space under there for your doonas and extra pillows. There's some storage space under here. We use the end for shoes, but it also houses the hot water unit under there. So because our teenage daughter doing these overnight trips, we have got her tent, but it's just too much hassle to pull out the tent all the time. Why would you bother? So she's actually quite comfortable and sleeps just along this section most of the time without having to pull the whole bed down, which has been a real nice bonus as well. So coming over here, we've got a full-length pantry. Now we have had a couple of little issues on this trip with the van, and I'm not knocking the van at all. I mean, we've had it just over 2 years, as I said earlier, and we've put it through some really rugged situations, and it's lasted the test of time without question. But what happens with a lot of these joints and timber work is because they need to put a lot of timber in these vans, otherwise they'd just be ridiculously heavy to tow. But because of that, some of the latches and screws do fail if you're going over really rugged, rutted stuff, which we've been doing. So one of the things that has happened is our cupboard clasp has actually, it's not working properly. So just because we've been going over this is a temporary fix, all we need to do is get a new one of these, and you can see that shouldn't have done that. It should actually lock itself in. So we'll just get a new one of these, and it'll fix the job, no problems. We should be able to pick one up. that's fine. So yeah, it's got like heaps of space. It looks terribly messy at the moment, but as I said, we've been traveling for a couple of weeks now. Comes with a microwave when we're plugged into 240 volt. A couple of a big, really good pot drawer. Let's see, what else have we got? There's loads of space, which is great. Cupboard space here. Now, the other fail that we've had just happen yesterday is this door. Now, this is what I'm talking about. And again, it is an easy fix when we've got the right tools to be able to do it. So you can see that it's come off the hinge there. Now, because it's pulled out of the hinge, all we really need to fix it is some matches, or if we can find a twig, so that Jason's going to basically plug the holes that the screws came in, and it'll give it the screws bite to be able to fix the door. So it is a very easy fix, but yeah, it's just something that we need to do when we get back. It's got the stovetop here, as well as the sink. And what I asked them to do when we got the van was I asked them to cut out a section to match the bench top. So when the stove top is down, I didn't want to have to put things directly on top of here. I wanted sort of a little bit more bench space. So when I asked them to cut a piece of this out for me to match, so then what I can do is basically just slip that there, and that gives me extra bench space so I don't have to directly put things, and yeah, that's worked really, really well too. So then we've got our it's probably considered a double, so it's slightly bigger than a double, but double-ish bed, which is really, really comfortable. And we've got a full length wardrobe on one side and drawers on the other. Again, sorry, excuse the mess. Loads of space there. We put on this what do you call it? Sorry, I've gone blank. This monitors our fridges, both fridges anyway, and inside, just to make sure that we can check at a quick glance to see that they're working without incident. So that's been really handy to pop in there. We added in this mirror here, which has also been really good to have something in the bathroom, and we've popped this on. So this is a great little sink area, more storage space under here. And then in here is our shower and toilet. So you'll see there's heaps of room actually in there, and it's got a hatch up the top. And what we have done is we added in this grate down the bottom, and by adding in that grate, it made a massive difference, believe it or not. Just because if you'd use it as a shower, you'd have to wipe out the entire thing every single time before someone could use the toilet, and it was a little bit of a pain. But just by adding that grate down there, it's changed everything. Like, you just give the seat a quick wipe and you can pretty much use the toilet straight away. You're not dragging wet feet and so on. And then just every couple of days we just lift that grate and give it a good wipe underneath, and it's made the space way more usable than what it used to be. Added a few more of these suction hooks, and these toilet roll holders, and these utensil holders are fantastic. They're from Bunnings. They're Loctite, I think they're called. Absolutely brilliant. Like, we've gone over some really rugged stuff, as I keep saying, and they have not moved at all. So they're definitely a great thing to have. And we've just added this little bit of rubber around here just to stop that, you know, if it swings backwards and forwards, so it doesn't mark the wall. That's the only reason that's there. But yeah, that's actually quite roomy and certainly does the job without a problem. We've got up in the back corner over here is the controller for our diesel heater, which is underneath the bed, and I'll do a separate video again on the diesel heater, because that's a little bit more involved, and it's worth the explanation of how we've installed it. But that's just been amazing and a must for winter camping, which we do a lot of. It's just brilliant. It keeps the van so nice and toasty warm. And also underneath there we have switched to 2 AGM batteries, and we changed the solar on top as well from the 80 watt that it came with to I think we've got 500 watts up there now. Again, I'll do a whole separate thing on the electrics because we had a lot of problems with the electrics of this van, only up until basically it's been resolved just before this trip, and this trip has proved that it's finally been fixed. So yeah, we'll do a whole thing and Jason will talk to you about what it was, what he had to do to find the problem and how it's been rectified, because that's worth really having a good listen to as well. For anyone else that has these vans or any other vans for that matter, we've now, by him doing all of that, it's made us totally self-sufficient. And as I said, we haven't been to a caravan park in the 2 weeks that we've been traveling. We haven't needed to. And we only had to put on the generator once through this trip, and that was because we were camped up for 3 nights and we were camped right underneath the shade of a tree. And so of course, and when we were out during the day, we didn't have a chaser out, so the solar panel just wasn't able to work. But that's the only time. Every other time it's just been absolutely brilliant. So I don't think I'll take you around the outside on the other side of the van. I don't think there's anything really exciting there to show you, but just so that you've seen everything, then you'll know. So around the back here, we've got the spare fuel for the generator if we need to have it, the bag, dirt bag, which is really good for containing our rubbish until we can get rid of it. Our jerry can holder for our diesel heater, and that manky looking thing over the top is vital for Victorian weather, because in where it gets really freezing conditions, if we didn't have that on, our diesel heater doesn't work. So again, we'll talk about that and discuss that in a separate video altogether. So yeah, then you can see the nice big windows, all the viewing windows around the outside. It's got an outside shower as well. We've never used it as yet, doesn't mean we won't, but it's there, it came with it. You've got the water filler. We have had one other mishap with all these rugged, as you can see, this is gibber rock everywhere and dirt, and it just flings up constantly when you're out on the roads and driving. And so we have actually cracked down here the outlet, so that's going to need to be totally replaced, but it's not a hard job to do, and you know, you expect that these sort of things are going to happen when you're going through these type of conditions. You just deal with it and get on. It still works, so we'll just fix it so that it's not broken anymore. And then this side is where you access your toilet cassette to get it out and give it a clean and empty it out. So that's it. That is our gorgeous van. We absolutely love it, and we hope to take it to many more places along the way as well. The only other thing I haven't shown you is it does have an outdoor full awning, but like I said, we're not going to pull that out for overnight trips. It's not worth it, and it hasn't been raining or anything, so we really don't need to. So at another point in time, I'm sure we'll do a video and you'll see it out. So there you are. Hope you enjoyed taking a look around our van, and hope you maybe got some ideas for yours, and yeah, happy travels.